Hey guys, welcome back to the Home Turf. Hopefully you're doing good and having a great day. I love you all. I'm so glad you could join me again today. I have a video from Cash Jordan. Mexican mob seizes Texas town. U.S. troops wipe invaders off the map. I saw this video earlier today and I had to sit down and do a video about it because it's extremely important. And he posted this a couple days ago, so let's go ahead and take a look at what Cash has to say.
Now to the southern border, where residents are reporting multiple home break-ins, where law enforcement says cartels under pressure from the immigration crackdown are now burglarizing American homes for money and valuables.
So as the U.S. border crackdown continues, criminals who were smuggling people through it now need to find new jobs, which is why they're now rampaging through American border towns, raiding homes and apartments of the law-abiding. However, there's one thing these foreign fugitives are about to find out. The border they're walking across will now soon be flooded with even more U.S. military troops.
I think we get a lot of credit.
Where is the militia? How many people, how many children, how many women will it take to be attacked, to be raped, to be assaulted before something's done? I don't understand why there's not a giant push for a militia. Fuck what the mainstream is saying. Who cares what the mainstream is saying? We should be lined up, armed to the teeth at the border against these invaders who would come into our homes and attack our families, attack ourselves. There should be a deterrence. And a militia is really good for that. We have a militia for a reason. We have the right for a well-regulated militia. That means the people gather together as a citizens' army. This is a good reason here why we need a militia. And so it's our responsibility, because the military is only going to take a certain amount of time to get to where they're going to go. Law enforcement is going to take a certain amount of time to respond. So it's up to us to defend ourselves.
On the border, because last month we had 0 people come into our country. We had people come in, but they had to come in legally.
Anything of value was gone. Everything was rifled through. The whole house was flipped upside down.
It's no secret the cartel is not making its billions moving people into the country illegally anymore, because we're not seeing that anymore. And so people down here believe that the cartel is resorting to old tactics to make up for that loss. There's several homes down here along the Rio Grande have been broken into. The most recent one, yeah, you can still see where the safe was actually quite literally flipped down his driveway. Check out these gashes.
These 8-wheeled armored vehicles. Strikers could be armed with cannons or machine guns to fight enemies. They are positioned to give a bird's eye view over the border. This one that we got to look at overlooks the Juarez, Mexico area, a major smuggling corridor known for its high number of gotaways, illegal migrants who manage to escape Border Patrol agents.
They had gone through every room.
Guys, these people, they're not just coming from Mexico. They're coming from all over. And these people are not coming in to integrate into American culture, American society. They're coming to essentially create their own parallel society and benefit their own culture. America is no longer a melting pot. It's no longer a place where a lot of cultures can come together to assimilate together into American society. No, not anymore. Not anymore. And this is what happens. This is exactly what happens when we vote against our own interest. But then again, it's not like voting can really do anything these days anyways, because we don't have millions of dollars in our pockets. We're not AIPAC. We're not all of these lobbying groups who are dropping millions of dollars in our politicians' pockets. And so, of course, we're not the interest. And this is what happens when special interest is taken over our own interests.
Pulled out every drawer.
Mexican officials even stood guard over the waterlogged safe for days, but Rivas couldn't retrieve it. It was in Mexico.
So it's no secret that foreign fugitives have entered our country with the goal of raiding homes and apartments. But what nobody's talking about is if Mexican cartels are now resorting to this Business at the border must be pretty lousy, because it's one thing for a lone operative and perhaps a small crew of hardened thugs to enter a small town, disappear into our streets, cause mayhem, and then leave. But it's quite another to ferry millions of people from the far corners of the earth into our country while getting paid for doing so. And what this new switch to home invasions really shows is that they're getting desperate. Not only because they can't smuggle people into our country like they used to, but in
Good, these things should die out. These organizations should absolutely die out. They should. We should be building a wall to expand across the entirety of the border. The whole purpose of a border is to keep invaders out. I hate that I have to mention this. There is a reason why all of ancient society has always had walls around its cities. There's always been because it's to keep predators out, other animals, and to keep invading armies out. That's the whole fucking reason for a fucking wall. And now we have these bleeding heart wokies who wants to get rid of what protects our borders, protects our children, protects our women, and let anyone in. Now we see the repercussions of that. People are getting assaulted constantly. People are dying from fentanyl overdoses. Children are getting trafficked, sent everywhere. But the one question people aren't asking is, who is benefiting from this? And this is what I was alluding to earlier. Who is benefiting from this? The lobbyists, the CEOs of these giant corporations, because these people who are coming over illegally, they're replacing American workers. And they're taking this cheap to slave labor, essentially. And so that's what's going on. That's what I mean by special interests. And when that is taken over our own interests as average, everyday Americans, our homes get broken into. Our children get harmed. And so do our women. This is the problem. This shit has to change. So, when will it? When will it? Because it's not changing with this administration either. Since the illegals that are already in here have been given amnesty, every single one of them. When are things going to change?
In many cases, the operatives and cartel members themselves are getting busted and sent to eternal vacation destinations like El Salvador. And that brings us to the real reason why we're now seeing these home invasions. This is one of the few ways left. They're invading towns and raiding apartments in ways nobody is quite prepared for.
Value was gone. Everything was rifled through. The whole house was flipped upside down.
Now to the southern border, where residents
This guy
are
had his
reporting
life
multiple
destroyed.
home break-ins, where law enforcement says cartels under pressure from the immigration crackdown are now burglarizing American homes for money and valuables. News Nation's Allie Bradley is live for us in Del Rio, Texas. And Allie, you just walked through a home.
This guy looks like a
that
veteran,
was
too.
hit.
Yeah, Nicole. So we know that it's no secret the cartel is not making its billions moving people into the country illegally anymore, because we're not seeing that anymore. And so people down here believe that the cartel.
But let's ask ourselves, why would cartels in Mexico, who are well-funded, well-organized, and have weapons that militaries around the world are trying to get their hands on, why would they resort to breaking into the homes of average Americans just across the water? Well, I'll tell you why. These criminals, they refuse to make money in any way that isn't completely illegal.
Many of these cases by South American crime rings.
They often know your patterns. They're finding that out through embedding cameras in bushes or in and around the community.
I used my left foot to kick it out, and that's when I discovered it was a device.
This West Covina homeowner showing it in his front yard.
I felt violated.
Guys, this is why I tell you, train your eyes to see the smallest of details. Ensure that you are understanding situational awareness, you are developing a situational awareness, and you are ever keeping it up, because today's society, it would benefit you to be extremely cautious, because it's not paranoia, it's not anxiety, it's survival. They are actively putting these things camouflaged. Look, it's camouflaged. They are putting these things in people's bushes, underneath their grass. And so, to the average person who isn't trained to look at this, would walk right by it. And they're taking a look at your patterns. They're studying you, which means they've already been there for some time. And so, if they study you long enough, they know your patterns. They know when you're gone. They know your security defenses. And so, if they can get around those, they're going to take your entire life. So, train to see things like this so that there's less of a chance of this happening to you.
Gave me the chills.
Multiple police departments have shared images of concealed cameras.
Now, in the case of this homeowner that got robbed right across the border, they don't even need to hide a camera to watch his house. Sounds like this is what you do. So thieves are, but they could see his house from Mexico. And that's why these guys broke in and took pretty much everything this guy has. And to be honest with you, this doesn't look like the home of Mexico. And that's why these guys broke in and took pretty...
You guys can see right here, right over here. This is Mexico right here. There's no wall. There is no wall here. So how are you, the American citizen, protected from home invaders? Invaders in general, how are you protected? This is why you must take things into your own hands. Because they took everything from this guy. And we'll get to that here in a second. Because I want you guys to see this.
And with a push of a button.
This little switch right here. If I did this right now, we'd lose our Zoom connection because I'm on Wi-Fi. Here we go.
See.
And he's gone.
Then the screen did freeze.
So if you've got like a Ring doorbell or some Wi-Fi enabled camera, that thing is pretty much useless. Everybody's got them, but all the thieves apparently have these jammers that they can just use. These things also disrupt radio traffic in some cases, so nobody on a police...
It's not just radios, phones as well. They have a built-in antenna that connects to the cell towers. And anything that gives off an electronic signal to communicate will be jammed. And this is the scary part about this, too, is that if they happen to just flip that, and next thing you know, your phone goes dead, you can't call law enforcement. So, at that point in time, it's survival mode. If you're not prepared to defend your life and the life of your family, you're going to end up on the news. There's really not much else to say. If you're not prepared to take a life, if you absolutely have to defend yourself, your home, your family, then you will end up dead. Because obviously these people do not care about your life or even their own. They will risk their own life to take every single thing from you. And so why should you care about theirs?
There's several homes down here along the Rio Grande have been broken into. The most recent
Several
one,
homes?
Yeah, you can still see where the safe was actually quite literally flipped down his driveway. Check out these gashes in his driveway here. That leads all the way to the river. That's Mexico right there. And Frank Rivas isn't that concerned about the valuables as much as he is about his safety.
They took this guy's safe and just dragged it out of his back door and into Mexico. That's absolutely crazy. They just ripped it right out of his home. And this thing is...
They took everything from him. It wasn't just the safe. They took everything from him. Everything.
Anything of value was gone. Everything was rifled through. The whole house was flipped upside down. They had gone through every room, pulled out every drawer, and emptied every drawer.
They took everything from him.
And basically made their way to my stand-up safe, which is a substantial safe, which contained
a standing
quite a bit
safe
of value in it. Everything that's important to me and anything valuable, jewelry, diamonds, cash, weapons, collections from a long time ago.
So they stole his weapons.
Many things of value. Everything that's important to me in my life.
Several Mexican nationals crossed the Rio Grande.
Look, it's right there.
That's not just monetary value. That's also sentimental value. You know, because the safe filled up with water, so that could be pictures. That could be anything.
His property, according to officials, making off with more than $60,000 in guns, jewelry, and other personal belongings. Wow. A massive safe dragged across the border and dumped in the water when it got too heavy to haul.
$60,000 worth of value. 60 fucking G's they took from this guy. They don't care. They do not fucking care if your life is ruined. They don't care. So we should stop this bleeding heart bullshit because it's only killing our society.
Our story where the real problem starts to emerge, because I've been told by the television, as you probably have as well, that Mexico is now doing everything to secure their border, that they are working so hard over there and they're cracking down on all of this cartel.
The real problem, the real problem is that we, the have-nots, are the ones who are always going to get fucked over until we do something about it. Because our government benefits from this, from the lobbyists. The lobbyists benefit from this because they get free labor and they get handouts from whatever cartel is willing to give them handouts. And the cartels benefit because they get to steal from us. And the cartels also have complete control over their government over there too, so it's a win-win for everyone except the American citizens, the average American citizens. That's the real problem. And if we do anything about it, if we start our militias, we're seen as white supremacists. If we take things into our own hands, the federal government tries to slap our wrists and tell us that we're wrong for wanting to defend ourselves. I say fuck that. I say fuck that. It is our right and our duty to defend ourselves, defend our border. So we have to.
Activity, and we shouldn't be seeing stuff like this anymore. But apparently, while there are Mexican military units that put on a show for the cameras, apparently...
Look at this, dude. Look at this. Look at this. They're not even sending their forces into cartel-controlled areas. They don't care. It's so obvious and in your face that they don't care. If this hasn't shown you by now, all of the years that we've seen things happen, the fact that nothing still has changed with this new administration, that nothing will change until we change it, I don't know what to tell you guys. I really don't.
Buildup of troops on the U.S. side of the border. Oof. So into areas of Mexico where law and order doesn't exist and where no one can follow them, which is why we're now seeing an even larger buildup of troops on the U.S. side of the border.
Oof. So this is the LRAD, stands for the Long Range Acoustic Device. It basically broadcasts any tone or any voice at a longer distance.
Military troops aren't just watching the border. Now they're using sound to warn people away. Thousands of U.S. troops have been deployed to what's now known as national defense areas, militarized zones where the U.S. military and Border Patrol operate side by side. The Army's presence in Nogales is impossible to miss. 117 armored vehicles, over 35 helicopters, and high-tech surveillance gear, including drones scanning the skies. But what actually happens if someone tries to cross into these military zones? Troops have a way to send a clear warning.
Then we can inform them with this, and we can inform them that if they cross over the barrier, they will be in our national defense area.
Why do we have such a soft fucking approach to people who are more than willing and capable, obviously, of invading our fucking country? Why do we have such a soft approach to this? If they are trying to cross the river illegally, the military should absolutely turn them into fucking fish food. That is well within our right to do that. You are crossing our border illegally, and that is considered an invasion. You are breaking our laws, and you are putting our safety in jeopardy by breaking these laws. You should be treated as such and dealt with accordingly. I don't understand why we have such a soft fucking approach to this shit. But then again, as we've talked about just a few moments ago, we know who benefits from this. And that's why they have such a soft approach to it. So again, it just comes back to us. Everything comes back to us. What about the locations that they don't deploy troops to? You're on your own. This is why I tell you, form your fucking militias. Form your community watches. Because you are all that you have at the end of the day. You cannot rely on the military. You cannot rely on law enforcement. You can't rely on state officials. You can't rely on federal officials. You are all you have at the end of the fucking day. So you have to watch yourself and protect yourself. But we've gotten so fucking soft, we're so fucking afraid of guns these days. If you want to survive, you have to take matters in your own hands.
Cartels today have more drone capability than American law enforcement.
Officials say that the threat is no longer just about surveillance. Last year, drones dropped explosives on Mexican soldiers. American agents worry it's only a matter of time before cartel drones drop bombs into the United States. Earlier this year, we saw just how...
If that happens, one of two things is going to happen. Either the American people will react themselves and do what needs to be done to defend our own, or the American government will be forced to act. And that could very well start another war. I'm hoping it doesn't get to that because I don't want to see harm or loss of life to anyone. But that's the reality of things. And the fact that the fact that these organizations have better capabilities than what our own law enforcement has, that's incredibly terrifying. What the fuck? What the fuck, man?
How critical this technology has become. News Nation joined Texas DPS in Roma, where troopers use thermal drones to catch smugglers attempting to sneak migrants across the river. On the ground, troopers told us this.
Yeah, I mean, you could build a border wall as high as you want, but it's not going to get high enough to stop a drone from flying over. And whoever's in this raft right here, they were using this eye-in-the-sky surveillance to figure out when to try and make their crossing. Now, look, nobody wants to see war with Mexico, but if these things are capable of dropping ordnance and they're flying over our territory in an unrestricted manner and they're going back to areas of Mexico where there is no law and order, something has to be done about that. There needs to be a consequence for that, or it's going to keep happening.
Yeah, see, even Cash is saying the same thing. There should absolutely be a consequence for these people who are doing these, who are committing these crimes against our people. And so either the American government does something about it or the American people will. One or the other.
And it's only going to get worse. And the other component to this is the seeming inability of Mexico to actually deal with its cartel.
Well, that's because Mexico doesn't care. All right. Obviously, I commented there. Let's go ahead and check out a couple comments, guys. We should absolutely act within our right to self-defense. That's what I was talking about earlier. But again, guys, look, it is your responsibility to arm yourselves, to train, to be prepared and ready should you have to use any means to defend yourself, your home, your family, your property. It's a deterrence. The reason why no one crosses the DMZ is because they know what will happen. It's that fear of repercussion that is the deterrence. And so we should have a wall all the way across, and we should also have a fuck ton of troops across the whole border, the entirety of the border. And whoever wants to cross that border illegally, you are now fish food. I hate seeing these comments, man. This is so close-minded because it's not just the Democrat Party. It's both the Republican and the Democrat Party. Because again, who benefits from this? The politicians benefit from it because they get paid off by the lobbyists, and the lobbyists benefit from it because they get all of the labor that they want illegally. Do your research. This isn't just Biden's fault. This is everyone's fault, Republicans and Democrats. And it's our fault, too. We have to take accountability. It's our fault, too, for letting this happen. We should have had militia collected and sent down to Texas together. We should have gathered, and we should have been out there, guns in hand, lined up across the border, and prepared to do what we needed to do. That's what should have happened. But we're so fucking soft today that we are too afraid to do what we need to fucking do. Unreal, dude. This shit really pisses me off. I'm extremely fucking frustrated because no one seems to be courageous enough to do what needs to be done. Stay strapped. Yes, stay strapped. Keep your situational awareness up. If you don't have situational awareness, get it and keep it up. Get a gun, train, get ammo. And guys, look, for my men, you are responsible for not just yourself, but your family. So, their safety depends on you. That's why I tell men all the time, be capable and be prepared. No one's coming to save you. No one is coming to save you but you. So take matters into your own hands. Guys, if this video helped you out, please like, share, subscribe. I would love to have you join the family because the whole reason for the channel here is to start a movement to bring Americans together, whether you vote right or left, red or blue. Doesn't matter your sex, race, or creed. I don't care. The whole point is to come together and figure out what the real issues are. We already know what the real issues are, but what are we going to do about it? And this is what we can do about it. We can expose the bullshit for what it is. We can make our voices heard. Fuck all of these lobbyists who want to buy off all these politicians. And fuck all the politicians who want to take special interest over the interest of the average American. You can get voted out, buddy. You can get out of office. I'm tired of seeing this shit. I'm tired of seeing the way this country is going. I'm tired of it. So, guys, I would love to have you join the family because this shit needs to change, and I need your help to change it. Please make sure you take care of yourself, take care of each other, both mind and body. If you need me for anything, just reach out. I wish you all a lovely day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.